The most dangerous geopolitical idea right now isn't a missile, it isn't a war, it isn't even a country. The real danger is an idea that sounds peaceful, an idea that sounds reasonable, an idea that sounds like common sense. Donald Trump's proposed Board of Peace. On the surface, it sounds like diplomacy. It sounds like leadership. It sounds like an attempt to stop endless wars. But once you look closer, this idea represents something far more serious, something far more nefarious. It represents a shift away from international law, away from institutions, away from rules, and towards something much older: power. Today, I want to explain what the Board of Peace really is, why it alarms experts across the world, how it would reshape global politics, and why it could destabilize the international system in ways we haven't seen since World War II. It's insane. We've had pseudo-stability and now we're just throwing it away. This isn't about Trump the man. This is about the system his idea would create. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, share and comment, and click notifications. I'm groveling a bit because I want to grow the channel, as you know. Sharing always helps best. The algorithm doesn't like me. This is Canadian Shields, the new name. I'm your host, Pierre Shields. Let's dive in. What the Board of Peace really means. The Board of Peace is presented as a group of powerful nations working together to prevent war, not through treaties, not through the United Nations, not through international courts, but directly through power. A small group of countries deciding what stability looks like and enforcing it. Membership would not be universal. It costs $1 billion paid directly to the Trump family, allegedly, in my opinion. Influence would not be equal. Authority would not come from law. It would come from leverage, from money, from military power, from strategic usefulness. That's a key difference. This would not be an international institution. It would be a power council. How this breaks the post-war order. Since 1945, the global system has been built on one idea, that all sovereign states are legally equal, not equally powerful, but equally legitimate. That principle underpins the United Nations, international law, diplomatic norms, global treaties. It's imperfect, it's slow, it's frustrating, but it exists to restrain power. The Board of Peace does the opposite. It removes equality from the system. It replaces law with influence. It replaces rules with discretion. Under this model, countries don't have rights, they have standing. Standing can be revoked. It's not reform. That's replacement. Why authoritarian states benefit. Authoritarian governments are better suited to this kind of system than democracies. They move faster, they face fewer constraints, they don't need public approval, they don't deal with court challenges. They can align policy instantly. Democracies can't do that. Democracies debate, vote, delay, compromise. Those are strengths in a rule-based world. But in a power-based system, they become liabilities, which means the model naturally favors strong men, strong women, centralized states, governments, with weak accountability. Can we think of any of those? God. This is not reforming the UN. Supporters often say the UN doesn't work, and in many ways that's true. It's slow, it's bureaucratic, it's gridlocked. But there's a difference between reform and replacement. The Board of Peace does not fix the UN. It bypasses it. It creates a parallel authority with no charter, no oversight, and no legal accountability. Countries wouldn't formally leave the UN, they would simply stop using it. And once that happens, the UN becomes irrelevant, not because it failed, but because power moved elsewhere. That's how institutions die in the modern world, not with explosions, with indifference. How legitimacy changes. In yesterday's world, legitimacy came from law, from treaties, from recognition, from collective agreement. In the Board of Peace system, legitimacy comes from alignment. Are you useful? Are you compliant? Are you loyal? If yes, you're protected. If not, you're expendable. Countries stop asking what's legal. They start asking what keeps us safe. That shift rewrites global behavior. Why Europe is so alarmed. Europe understands what this means. They've lived this before. Their security depends on NATO, international law, predictable rules, and collective defense. A power-based system undermines all of that. If protection becomes conditional, if alliances become transactional, if law becomes optional, then Europe becomes vulnerable. That's why European leaders reacted so strongly, not because they love bureaucracy, but because they understand what replaces it. A world where power decides everything, We hear it now with the might is right doctrine of the Stephen Miller Nosferatu kind of guys. Why the system is unstable. History gives us a warning here. Power-based systems do not collapse slowly. They appear stable until suddenly they aren't. They rely on personal relationships and formal agreements and balance of power. When leadership changes, the system changes. When trust breaks, conflicts follow. That's why the 19th century had a long period of peace, followed by catastrophic wars. A world without rules doesn't stay peaceful. It just delays the explosion. What this means for Canada. For Canada, the shift is dangerous. Our influence comes from rules, alliances, predictability, and stability. In a power-driven world, those advantages disappear. Canada would need real military capability, Arctic defense, energy leverage, and strategic independence. Because in a system like this, being reasonable isn't enough. You have to be necessary. Final thoughts. The greatest danger of the Board of Peace is not what it promises. It's what it normalizes. It teaches the world that power replaces law, loyalty replaces legitimacy, and institutions are optional. Once that mindset spreads, it doesn't go away. It becomes the new normal. Trump's idea may never fully happen, but the thinking behind it already is. And that's scary, because the future of global stability won't be decided by speeches or summits. It will be decided by whether the world chooses rules or rulers. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, share and comment. If you could share it with anybody who you think would like this, it would help me once again. I know I'm groveling twice in the same video. As you know, the algorithm hates me. Thanks for spending time with me. This has been Canadian Shields, the new name. I'm Pierre Shields. Go play outside.